What if this year was the one where everything finally changed for you? What if 2026 wasn't just another number on the calendar, but the moment you drew a line in the sand and said, no more living small, no more waiting, no more excuses? Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself you start fresh, only to watch old habits pull you back? How many dreams have you carried inside, waiting for the right time, while life passed by in silence? The truth is, the right time doesn't arrive. The right time is created, and that power belongs to you. You're not broken. You're not too late. You're not behind. You are standing at a door that only you can choose to open. And on the other side of that door is the version of yourself that you've always imagined. The one who wakes up with energy, who moves with confidence, who speaks with clarity, who refuses to settle. That person is not a stranger. That person is you, waiting to be uncovered. But here's the question. Will you keep hiding or will you step forward? Most people never do. They get stuck in patterns that feel safe but slowly suffocate their spirit. They trade courage for comfort. They bury their dreams under routines that look normal but feel empty. And then one day, they wake up and realize they've been living the same year on repeat. Don't let that be your story. You have been given another chance, another year, another set of days that belong only to you. The choice of what you will do with them will echo far beyond 2026. So why should you stay with me right now? Because you already know that deep down, something has to shift. You felt it every time you looked in the mirror and thought, there has to be more than this. You felt it every time you lay awake at night replaying missed chances and broken promises. You felt it every time you told yourself tomorrow would be different, but tomorrow looked exactly like yesterday. That voice inside you is not here to punish you. It's here to remind you that you are meant for more. This is not about chasing perfection. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering the fire you've always carried and finally feeding it with action. When you commit to transformation, you don't just change your habits. You change your energy, your presence, your future. You begin to show up differently. You begin to attract opportunities, people, and moments that match your new standard. And the ripple effect doesn't stop with you. It touches your family, your friends, your work, and everyone who crosses your path. That's why these rules matter. They are not empty advice or recycled cliches. They are a map, a way forward when the noise of the world tries to drag you back into distraction and doubt. If you choose to follow them, they can rewire the way you think, the way you act, and the way you believe in yourself. Imagine 1 year from now looking back at today and realizing this was the turning point. Imagine feeling proud instead of regretful, powerful instead of stuck. Stay with me, because by the time we finish, you will not only know the rules, you will feel the urgency to live them. And once you begin, nothing in your life will ever be the same. This is your chance. This is your moment. And it starts now. Change always begins in the mind before it shows up in the world. Every action you take, every choice you make begins as a thought. And for too long, you've allowed thoughts of limitation to shape your reality. You've told yourself stories about what you can't do, what you don't deserve, what's too risky, what's too late. But those stories are not truth. They are prisons disguised as logic. And the longer you live inside them, the smaller your life becomes. You have to decide right now to break the cycle. Your mind is not your enemy. It is the most powerful tool you own. But it will only serve you if you take control of it. Think about the way most people live. They let their minds run wild with fear, doubt, and distraction, then wonder why they feel stuck. They repeat thoughts of weakness until those thoughts harden into beliefs, and those beliefs quietly write the script of their lives. If you want transformation, you must interrupt this cycle. You must feed your mind with strength until it starts to believe again. Every great change begins with a single powerful thought. I can. Simple, but revolutionary. I can rise, I can change, I can build, I can heal. Those two words are the spark that ignites momentum. They silence the voice of doubt and plant seeds of courage. When you repeat them with conviction, your brain begins to shift. Neuroscience has proven it. Your brain rewires itself based on the thoughts you consistently hold. This is not wishful thinking, it is biology. You are literally shaping your future by the words you allow in your mind. And that means you cannot afford to be careless with your inner dialogue. Every time you call yourself weak, you make weakness more real. Every time you say you'll never succeed, you build walls around your potential. But every time you affirm strength, every time you choose belief over doubt, you carve a new path forward. This is how leaders are built. This is how dreamers become doers. This is how ordinary people rise into extraordinary lives. Ask yourself right now, what thoughts have you been repeating to yourself? Are they lifting you or dragging you down? Are they opening doors or locking them shut? If you want a different life in 2026, you cannot carry the same broken language into it. You must replace it with words that empower you, words that remind you of your worth, words that refuse to let you settle for less than you are capable of. But it goes deeper than words. The true shift comes when you feel those thoughts in your body, when you don't just say, I can, but you stand taller as you say it. When you breathe deeper, move stronger, and embody the energy of someone who already believes. That alignment between mind and body creates certainty. And certainty is magnetic. It draws opportunities. It attracts people who see your fire. It pulls you forward even when the path is unclear. This is where transformation begins, not with the outside world, but with the story you tell yourself every day. You are not powerless. You are not behind. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the author of your thoughts, and your thoughts shape everything else. Guard them, direct them, strengthen them, because when your mind is unshakable, no obstacle can hold you down. And when you finally claim that truth, 2026 will not just be another year. It will be the year you rise into the life you were meant to live. A powerful mind means nothing without disciplined action. Too many people wait until they feel motivated, believing that one perfect morning will arrive when everything suddenly clicks. But that day never comes, because motivation is fleeting. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. The first step is always the hardest, yet it is the one that shatters resistance. When you move, even in small ways, your body and mind begin to align. Momentum builds, confidence grows, what once felt impossible becomes the new normal. Discipline is the bridge between who you are now and who you want to become. Without it, dreams collapse under the weight of distraction. With it, you become unstoppable. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. It is proving to yourself day after day that your future matters more than your excuses. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you train your mind to trust you. That trust becomes inner strength, and that strength makes transformation inevitable. Think about how often you've broken promises to yourself. You said you'd start exercising, but skipped. You said you'd save money, but spent. You said you'd focus, but scrolled. Each broken promise didn't just waste time. It weakened the bond between you and your own word. And when you stop trusting yourself, you stop believing you can change. The cycle deepens and life feels heavier. But the opposite is also true. Each time you act with discipline, no matter how small, you build trust. You build integrity. You build momentum that cannot be stolen. Psychologists call this the success spiral. Small victories build confidence. Confidence fuels bigger victories. And over time, those victories create an identity shift. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. Identity is powerful. When you shift who you believe you are, your behavior naturally changes to match. You don't have to force discipline. You become disciplined. And that is the real secret. The goal is not to push yourself with willpower forever. Willpower is limited. It fades. The goal is to anchor discipline so deeply into your identity that it becomes automatic. The runner doesn't wake up and ask if they feel like running. They run because they are a runner. The disciplined person doesn't negotiate with themselves. They act because action is who they are. Ask yourself, what identity have you been carrying? Are you someone who gives up easily or someone who pushes through? Are you someone who lives by excuses or someone who lives by standards? You may have carried the weaker identity for years, but you don't have to keep it. You can rewrite it today. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. If you want to be disciplined, cast your votes again and again until the identity is unshakable. Discipline is freedom disguised as effort. At first it feels heavy, but then it unlocks everything you've been chasing. Health, success, peace, fulfillment. Without it, life is chaos. With it, life becomes clear. And when clarity replaces chaos, you no longer waste time wondering if change is possible. You prove it, one decision at a time. This is the foundation of transformation. This is how 2026 becomes the year, not of empty promises, but of powerful results. Discipline creates the structure, but clarity gives it direction. Without clarity, even the most disciplined effort can feel empty. You can work hard, stay busy, and push yourself daily, yet still feel lost if you don't know what you're working toward. A life without clarity is like running a marathon without a finish line. You move, but you never arrive. That endless cycle drains your energy and leaves you questioning why you even started. To transform your life in 2026, you must know exactly where you're going and why it matters. Clarity begins with vision, not a vague idea of wanting to be happier or more successful, but a vivid picture of the life you want to live. Your mind thrives on images. Neuroscience has shown that the brain responds to mental pictures almost as powerfully as it does to real experiences. When you create a clear vision of your future, your brain begins to treat it as possible, even familiar. That vision pulls you forward, giving you fuel on the days when discipline feels heavy. But vision without purpose is fragile. You must tie your vision to something that matters deeply. Ask yourself, why do I want this? Why must I change now? Why can't I afford another year of hesitation? Your answers become your emotional anchor. When your purpose is strong, your resilience grows. Challenges don't feel like reasons to quit. They feel like steps on the path. The people who create extraordinary transformations are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones whose purpose is so strong that nothing can keep them down for long. Clarity is also about simplicity. Most people overwhelm themselves with too many goals, too many distractions, too many conflicting priorities. They scatter their energy, then wonder why nothing changes. Real transformation comes when you focus. Choose the few things that truly matter and commit to them fully. Cut out the noise. Eliminate the unnecessary. Direct your energy like a laser and watch how quickly results multiply. Ask yourself, if my life ended 1 year from today, what would I regret not starting? What dream have I pushed aside again and again because it felt too big, too risky, or too far away? Those questions strip away the surface level desires and reveal what really matters. They bring you face to face with your deepest truth. And that truth is where clarity is born. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you know what you truly want, it will haunt you until you take action. And that is a gift because clarity removes confusion. It removes hesitation. It removes the endless loop of wondering what you should do. It leaves you with one choice, act or ignore. And ignoring your clarity is the fastest path to regret. Acting on it is the only path to transformation. Clarity is not about predicting every detail of your future. It's about knowing the direction of your growth and committing to it with everything you have. You may not know every step, but you know the destination that calls to you. And once you align your discipline with that vision, every action becomes meaningful. Every effort becomes progress. Every day becomes a step closer to the life you were always meant to live. This is how clarity turns struggle into purpose and effort into destiny. Clarity without courage fades into daydreams. You can see the life you want. You can feel the fire of your purpose, but without the bravery to act on it, vision becomes nothing more than a fantasy. Fear is the silent thief that robs people of their transformation. It whispers lies about not being ready, not being good enough, not being worthy of something greater. And if you listen to it, fear will keep you chained to the same patterns year after year, while the future you crave drifts further away. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Every person who has ever changed their life felt fear. The difference is they did not let it rule them. They understood that fear is not a signal to stop, but a signal that growth is near. When you feel it, it means you're stepping beyond what is familiar, and that is exactly where transformation begins. If you only move when you feel safe, you'll never move far. If you only act when you feel ready, you'll never act at all. The truth is, waiting for fear to disappear is the fastest way to waste your life. Fear doesn't vanish. It gets weaker only when you confront it. Every time you face it head on, it loses its power. Every time you step through it, you prove to yourself that the monster in your mind was smaller than you imagined. And each act of courage builds a new layer of strength. Soon the fears that once paralyzed you will feel insignificant because you will have grown beyond them. Psychology teaches us that action shrinks fear. The moment you step forward, your brain begins to rewire. What felt terrifying becomes manageable. What felt impossible becomes familiar. This is why courage cannot be postponed. It must be practiced. It is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And just like discipline, Courage eventually transforms into identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hesitates and start seeing yourself as someone who dares. Think about what fear has already cost you, the opportunities you didn't take, the words you didn't speak, the dreams you left untouched because you convinced yourself the risk was too high. And now ask yourself, how much longer are you willing to pay that price? 1 year, 5 years, a lifetime? Every day you let fear dictate your choices is a day stolen from the life you could have lived. That is a debt you do not have to keep paying. You are stronger than the voice of fear. You always have been. The fact that you've made it this far through everything life has already thrown at you is proof that you are capable of more than you realize. Fear may shout, but courage whispers a deeper truth. You are ready. Ready to leap, ready to rise, ready to become the version of yourself you've been waiting for. When clarity meets courage, vision becomes reality. And in that moment, nothing can stop you. The world opens, doors appear, strength you didn't know you had comes alive. That is the reward of courage, not just surviving fear, but transforming it into fuel. And once you embrace that truth, no fear will ever hold you captive again. Courage unlocks the door, but consistency is what carries you through it. A single bold step can change direction, but repeated steps create transformation. Too many people burn bright for a moment, then fade because they never built the habit of showing up every day. They mistake excitement for commitment. They confuse inspiration with endurance. Real change is not built in one dramatic leap. It is forged in the quiet, steady actions that no one else sees. Consistency is the rhythm of progress. It is the difference between a wish and a result. Every day you choose to honor your commitments, you place another brick in the foundation of your new life. One workout won't transform your body, but 100 will. One day of focus won't transform your career, but months of relentless effort will. One act of courage won't transform your identity, but years of consistent courage will turn you into someone unrecognizable from who you are today. The mind craves instant results, but transformation is not instant. It is cumulative. It is the compound effect of small, disciplined choices made over and over again. Science confirms this. Habits shape the structure of your brain, wiring behaviors into patterns that become automatic. What feels heavy at first eventually becomes effortless. The hard choice becomes the normal choice, and in time, the normal choice becomes the only choice. That is the magic of consistency. It makes greatness feel natural. But consistency requires patience. This is where most people give up. They plant seeds and demand fruit in the same season. When it doesn't appear fast enough, they declare it a failure and abandon the process. What they don't see is that the roots were forming, the growth was happening, the transformation was building silently beneath the surface. Your results will not always be visible in the moment, but that does not mean your effort is wasted. Every action counts, every repetition matters. Every step forward is carving the path you will one day be grateful for. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped starting over? If you chose consistency over bursts of effort, followed by collapse? Imagine where you'd be right now if you had simply stayed the course with the things you promised yourself years ago. The vision of that life is not lost. It is still waiting for you. All it demands is your daily commitment, your refusal to quit when it feels slow, your determination to keep moving when no one is watching. Consistency is not glamorous. It is not loud. It does not always feel exciting, but it is the quiet force that separates the extraordinary from the average. Anyone can show up once. Few can show up every day, and the few who do are the ones who shape their destiny. Every great transformation you admire, whether in health, success, or character, was built on this principle. Not speed, not luck, not perfection, but consistency. When you align your courage with this steady discipline, the results are inevitable. You will not have to wonder if change is possible. You will live it. You will embody it. And 2026 will not be remembered as the year you tried again. It will be remembered as the year you refused to stop. Consistency builds strength, but focus turns that strength into power. A scattered life drains energy. You can be disciplined, courageous, and consistent, yet if your energy is divided across too many directions, you will always feel exhausted and unfulfilled. Focus is the art of channeling your effort toward what truly matters, cutting away the noise that pulls you away from your vision. Without it, You may work hard but achieve little. With it, even small actions create massive impact. Your attention is your most valuable currency. Every notification you check, every distraction you indulge, every moment spent on things that do not serve your growth is a withdrawal from your future. Most people never reach transformation, not because they lack potential, but because they keep investing their focus into the wrong places. They spread themselves thin across endless obligations, shallow goals, and empty entertainment, then wonder why their life feels hollow. The truth is simple. What you focus on expands. Focus on fear, and fear grows. Focus on excuses, and excuses multiply. Focus on growth, and growth accelerates. This is not about doing more. It is about doing less, but with greater intention. Focus requires ruthless clarity about your priorities. You cannot chase every opportunity. You cannot say yes to everything. Each yes is also a no to something else. And if you are not deliberate, you will end up saying no to the things that matter most. Your health, your dreams, your peace. True focus demands sacrifice, but it gives back freedom. It allows you to build depth instead of chasing surface-level distractions. Psychology shows that the human brain is not designed to multitask effectively. Switching between tasks drains energy, reduces performance, and weakens creativity. The most successful transformations happen when people learn to immerse themselves fully in one thing at a time. That level of deep work creates breakthroughs. It is the difference between scratching the surface and striking gold. When you give your full attention to your vision, distractions lose their grip. Your energy no longer leaks into places that don't matter. Ask yourself, where has your focus been? On what you lack or on what you can build? On the opinions of others or on the actions within your control? On past regrets or on future possibilities? The direction of your focus will shape the direction of your life. You cannot live an extraordinary life while giving your attention to ordinary distractions. You must choose what deserves your energy and protect it fiercely. Focus is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. Every morning, you must decide again where you will direct your mind, your time, your energy. Will you scatter them across meaningless noise, or will you align them with the life you are building? Each day you choose focus, you strengthen your ability to resist distraction. Each day you choose focus, you bring your vision closer. When consistency is paired with focus, transformation accelerates. What once felt overwhelming becomes clear. What once felt impossible becomes manageable. You no longer feel like you are pushing against life. You feel like you are flowing with it because every action is aligned with your purpose. That alignment creates power, and that power becomes unstoppable momentum. This is how you turn discipline into results, clarity into reality, and vision into life. Focus sharpens your path, but energy fuels every step along it. Without energy, even the clearest vision and strongest discipline will collapse under the weight of exhaustion. Transformation is not just a mental battle, it is a physical one. Your body is the vessel that carries your dreams, and if it is neglected, every goal becomes harder to reach. Energy is not a luxury, it is the foundation of progress. When your body is strong, your mind is sharper. When your mind is sharper, your spirit feels alive. Most people underestimate how deeply their daily habits affect their energy. They run on caffeine, sugar, and late nights, wondering why motivation feels impossible. They treat rest as optional, nutrition as irrelevant, movement as inconvenient. But the truth is, your physical state shapes your emotional and mental state more than you realize. A tired body produces a tired mind. A sluggish body creates sluggish thoughts. On the other hand, a vibrant body produces clarity, drive, and resilience. Transformation cannot thrive in exhaustion. Energy is created, not stumbled upon. It comes from honoring your body, feeding it what fuels you, moving it in ways that build strength, resting it with intention. Every choice you make is either adding to your power or draining it. Science confirms this. Exercise increases focus and resilience. Sleep repairs your brain and consolidates memory. Proper nutrition stabilizes your mood and sharpens your thinking. These are not just health tips. They are the building blocks of transformation. Without them, even the most powerful mindset will struggle to sustain momentum. But energy goes beyond the physical. Emotional energy is just as vital. Carrying bitterness, regret, or toxic relationships drains you more than any workout ever could. Every grudge, Every hidden resentment, every unspoken frustration is like carrying invisible weight on your back. If you want to feel light, you must release it. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is freedom. Boundaries are not selfish, they are survival. Protecting your energy means protecting your future. Ask yourself, what is stealing your energy right now? Is it the late nights that rob you of rest? The constant distractions that fracture your attention? The people who drain you instead of lifting you? The habits that numb you instead of strengthening you? Until you face these questions honestly, transformation will feel like a constant uphill battle. But once you identify and remove the leaks, your energy will rise and everything else will become easier. Energy is contagious. When you elevate yours, you elevate everyone around you. People will feel it when you walk into a room. They will notice the confidence in your posture, the light in your eyes, the strength in your voice. That energy will attract opportunities and inspire others to rise with you. This is why protecting and cultivating it is not selfish. It is necessary. The more energy you have, the more impact you can make. When discipline, clarity, courage, consistency, focus, and energy align, you become unstoppable. Every choice reinforces the next. Every step builds momentum. You no longer question if you can keep going. You feel pulled forward by a force within you. And that force is energy, created by the way you live each day. Guard it, grow it, and use it with intention. Because when your energy rises, your entire life rises with it. Energy empowers you to act, but environment determines how far that energy can take you. You cannot rise into a new life while staying trapped in an environment that feeds the old version of you. Your surroundings either sharpen you or dull you. They either fuel your growth or choke it out slowly without you even noticing. This is why so many people fail to transform, not because they lack potential, but because they refuse to leave behind the environments that keep them small. Environment is more than just the physical space you live in. It is the people you spend time with, the conversations you allow, the media you consume, the energy you absorb every single day. Every influence leaves an imprint. If you surround yourself with negativity, you will think smaller. If you surround yourself with distraction, you will act slower. If you surround yourself with doubt, you will question your own strength. But when you place yourself in environments of growth, courage, and belief, you naturally rise to match them. Psychology calls this the principle of social contagion. Human beings absorb the emotions, habits, and even ambitions of the people around them. You may think you are immune, but your subconscious is always adapting to the standards of your environment. Sit with people who complain, and soon you complain. Sit with people who build, and soon you build. This is why choosing your environment is not just a preference. It is a strategy for transformation. Ask yourself, who are you allowing into your space? Do they challenge you or comfort your excuses? Do they call you higher or keep you average? Do they reflect the life you want to create or the one you are trying to leave behind? Every answer matters because you cannot step into a future of greatness while staying bound to environments of mediocrity. Transformation requires courage not only to face fear, but to outgrow the spaces and people who cannot grow with you. But environment is not only about people, it is also about the physical and mental spaces you choose each day. A cluttered space creates a cluttered mind. A chaotic routine creates a chaotic focus. The opposite is also true. Order sharpens clarity. Structure fuels discipline. Beauty lifts energy. When you design your environment with intention, you remove friction and make growth the default. You don't have to fight against the world every day. You create a world that fights for you. This is not about rejecting everyone or everything around you. It is about becoming intentional. It is about realizing that your environment is shaping you, whether you notice it or not. And if it is not serving your future, you must be willing to change it. That might mean limiting time with certain people, creating new spaces for focus, or immersing yourself in communities that match your vision. The more aligned your environment becomes with who you want to be, the easier transformation feels. Energy without the right environment will eventually fade. But energy within an environment that nurtures it will multiply. You will not just maintain momentum, you will accelerate it. You will rise faster, think clearer, act bolder. And when you look back, you will realize that changing your environment was not just one decision. It was the decision that made everything else possible. The right environment sets the stage, but resilience determines whether you can keep walking forward when storms arrive. Because no matter how strong your vision, how disciplined your habits, how focused your mind, life will test you. There will be setbacks, failures, disappointments, and moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. Transformation is not a smooth road. It is a battlefield, and resilience is the armor that keeps you moving when everything else tries to stop you. Resilience is not about pretending things don't hurt. It is about refusing to let the pain define you. It is about choosing to rise every time you fall, knowing that each rise makes you stronger. Most people collapse at the first sign of resistance. They mistake difficulty for a sign to quit, when in reality, difficulty is proof they are on the path of growth. The easy path has never built strength. The hard path is where character is formed, and resilience is the proof that you are stronger than the storm. Science shows that resilient people do not avoid stress, they reframe it. They see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to grow. Their minds are wired to look for lessons instead of losses, progress instead of paralysis. This shift in perspective changes everything. When you see setbacks as stepping stones, you no longer fear them. You welcome them as teachers. And teachers always leave you wiser, tougher, and more prepared for what comes next. Ask yourself, how many times have you stopped at the first sign of struggle? How many dreams have you abandoned because the journey was harder than you expected? The truth is, nothing worth having comes without resistance. Every transformation demands a price, and resilience is how you pay it. If you can stay standing when others quit, you will win by sheer persistence. Not because you never fell, but because you never stayed down. Resilience is not a gift reserved for a few. It is a skill you build through practice. Every time you face discomfort and choose not to run, you grow it. Every time you push through doubt and keep going, you grow it. Every time you are knocked down and rise again, you grow it. Just like a muscle, resilience strengthens with use. The more you exercise it, the more unshakable you become. But resilience is not just about survival. It is about thriving. It's about using adversity as fuel, letting it sharpen your hunger, your focus, your drive. The most powerful people you admire did not get there because life was easy. They got there because they refused to be broken by what tried to destroy them. They turned their scars into symbols of strength. You can do the same. Life will not wait for you to be ready. Challenges will come, whether you prepare for them or not. The difference lies in how you respond. Will you break, or will you bend and return stronger? Will you surrender to the weight, or will you carry it until it builds your strength? The answer determines whether 2026 becomes another year of unfinished attempts, or the year you prove to yourself that nothing can stop you. Resilience is the shield that protects your transformation. It keeps your vision alive when doubt attacks. It keeps your courage steady when fear rises. It keeps your consistency unbroken when progress feels slow. With resilience, you don't just survive the storm. You walk out of it with power the storm could never take away. Resilience keeps you standing, but growth demands that you keep learning. Stagnation is the silent enemy of transformation. The moment you believe you know enough, the moment you stop stretching your mind, you begin to decline. The world is always moving, always evolving, always demanding more from those who want to rise. If you want 2026 to be the year that changes everything, you must become a student of life, hungry, curious, open, and relentless in your pursuit of growth. Learning is not just about acquiring knowledge, it is about reshaping your identity. Every new skill, every new insight, every new perspective stretches the limits of who you thought you were. Growth expands the boundaries of possibility. It shows you that the version of yourself you believed was permanent is only temporary, waiting to be upgraded through effort and experience. Neuroscience confirms that the brain is plastic. It rewires and adapts throughout your life. This means you are never stuck. You are never too old, too late, or too limited to grow. The ceiling you see above you is an illusion, and learning is how you break through it. But growth requires humility. You cannot learn if you are too proud to admit you don't know. You cannot grow if you cling to outdated beliefs that no longer serve you. Many people stay trapped because they mistake comfort for wisdom. They assume that because they've been doing something for years, it must be right. Yet the truth is, what got you here will not get you there. Transformation demands that you let go of the old, embrace the new, and stay willing to be uncomfortable in the process. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly stretched yourself? When was the last time you invested in your own mind with the same urgency you give to distractions? If your answer feels distant, it is no wonder that life feels stagnant. Growth requires consistent input. Books, mentors, courses, experiences, failures, All of them feed the evolution of who you are becoming. If you starve yourself of learning, you starve your transformation. Learning is not only external, it is also internal. The greatest lessons come from reflection, from asking yourself hard questions, from analyzing your own patterns and behaviors. Self-awareness is a form of education that no book can replace. When you study yourself, you uncover blind spots, triggers, and habits that silently control you. And once you see them, you can change them. Every moment of reflection is an opportunity to rewrite the script you've been living by. Growth also requires repetition. You don't master something by hearing it once. You master it by immersing yourself in it, practicing it, failing with it, and rising again with deeper understanding. This is how wisdom is born, not through memorization, but through lived experience. Each cycle of effort, failure, and adjustment carves resilience and mastery into your character. The more you learn, the more adaptable you become. And adaptability is survival in a world that never stops changing. With every skill gained, every lesson absorbed, every truth embraced, you expand your capacity to create, to lead, to thrive. You stop being limited by yesterday's version of yourself and step fully into the endless potential of who you can become. Growth is the ultimate proof that transformation is alive within you. When you choose to learn, you choose to evolve. And when you evolve, nothing in your life can stay the same. Growth is powerful, but without discipline, it fades into scattered effort. Discipline is the bridge between intention and transformation. It is the invisible force that carries you from desire to reality. Dreams may ignite the fire within you, but discipline is the wood that keeps it burning when excitement fades. Without it, motivation dies, focus drifts, and the promise of change dissolves into frustration. Discipline is the ultimate act of self-respect, the decision to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. Think of the countless times you've set a goal with excitement, only to abandon it when the struggle appeared. It wasn't a lack of desire that stopped you. It wasn't a lack of intelligence. It was the absence of discipline, the refusal to endure discomfort long enough for results to appear. Most people fail not because they don't know what to do, but because they cannot force themselves to do it consistently. The difference between those who transform their lives and those who don't is not talent. It is not luck. It is discipline, repeated day after day, choice after choice, moment after moment. Discipline is freedom disguised as effort. It may feel like restriction at first, but over time it becomes a doorway to everything you want. The body you desire, the career you dream of, the mindset you crave, the peace you long for. Every one of them is unlocked through disciplined action. When you commit to discipline, you no longer live as a prisoner of your moods. You live by principle, not by feeling. And in that space, freedom is born. Your brain is wired to seek comfort and avoid pain. It resists discipline because discipline demands effort, and effort feels like pain. But the pain of discipline is temporary, while the pain of regret is permanent. Regret lingers. It eats at you, reminding you of the choices you didn't make, the opportunities you let slip, the potential you abandoned. Discipline may hurt in the short term, but it gives you a life where regret cannot survive. Ask yourself, how badly do you want your future? Bad enough to wake up earlier? Bad enough to say no to distractions? Bad enough to push through? Boredom, fatigue, and self-doubt? Because discipline is not tested when life is easy. It is tested when life is inconvenient, when you're tired, when you're tempted, when nobody is watching. That is when discipline demands you choose between the comfort of now and the greatness of later. Discipline is built like a muscle. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen it. Every time you push through resistance, you reinforce it. Every time you choose long-term growth over short-term pleasure, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. And trust in yourself is the foundation of transformation. You cannot rely on your own word. How can you expect to build anything lasting? The truth is simple. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-love in its strongest form. It is the willingness to do what serves your highest self, even when your lower self protests. When you practice discipline, you send yourself a powerful message. You are worth the effort. You are worth the struggle. You are worth the fight. And once you believe that, nothing can stop you. Discipline is the difference between wishing for a better 2026 and creating one. It turns goals into habits, habits into character, and character into destiny. With discipline, your life no longer drifts. It advances. relentlessly, powerfully, unshakably. Discipline builds the structure of transformation, but passion is the fire that gives it life. Without passion, discipline becomes mechanical, lifeless, a burden carried without joy. But when passion fuels your effort, even the hardest tasks feel meaningful. Passion is not just about doing what excites you. It is about connecting deeply to why you started in the first place. It is the reminder that your struggle has purpose, that your journey matters, that your existence is meant to create more than survival. Passion is the spark that awakens energy you didn't know you had. It pulls you out of bed before the alarm. It keeps you awake dreaming when others are asleep. It makes sacrifice feel like devotion instead of loss. Neuroscience shows that passion engages the reward centers of the brain, releasing chemicals that boost motivation and resilience. This is why people with passion endure longer, work harder, and rise higher than those who simply go through the motions. Passion transforms effort into art, but passion is not found, it is created. Waiting to feel inspired before you act is a trap. Passion grows through action. When you commit yourself fully, when you give your best even in small steps, you begin to feel alive in the process. Passion is not the reward at the end. It is the energy you generate when you immerse yourself fully in what matters. The more you invest your heart, the stronger it grows. Ask yourself, what lights you up? What makes you forget time? What do you talk about with such energy that others feel your fire? Inside those answers lies the seed of passion. Yet too many people bury it under fear, doubt, or the false belief that it isn't practical. They trade passion for safety, then wonder why life feels empty. Safety may protect you, but it will never fulfill you. Passion is the only force that makes life feel truly worth living. Passion does not mean you will always feel excited. It does not mean every moment is filled with joy. True passion demands sacrifice, discipline, and persistence. But it is passion that makes those sacrifices feel worthwhile. Without it, effort feels heavy. With it, effort feels like a privilege, a chance to honor the fire inside you. Passion is not about perfection. It is about devotion. It is about showing up fully, even on the days when it's hard, because something inside you refuses to quit. When passion and discipline unite, transformation becomes unstoppable. Discipline keeps you consistent. Passion keeps you alive. Together, they turn ordinary people into extraordinary forces. History is filled with individuals who may not have been the smartest or most talented, but whose passion made them relentless. And that relentlessness created results the world could not ignore. Your life in 2026 will not be shaped by half-hearted effort. It will be shaped by the intensity of your commitment to what matters most. Passion ensures that commitment never runs dry. It fuels you when the path is long, lifts you when the weight feels unbearable, and reminds you that the struggle is proof you are alive, moving, becoming. Passion is not just energy, it is purpose on fire. And once you find it, nothing can extinguish it. Passion ignites the fire, but purpose gives it direction. Without purpose, passion can scatter into fleeting moments of excitement with no lasting impact. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you steady, the compass that points you forward, the reason behind the struggle when the journey feels endless. It is the deeper meaning that transforms every challenge into part of a mission greater than yourself. Passion may give you energy, but purpose gives that energy a destination. Purpose is powerful because it connects your life to something bigger. Human psychology shows that people with a clear sense of purpose live longer, endure hardship more effectively, and experience greater fulfillment. Purpose reduces fear because it reminds you that your life is not just about your comfort, but about your contribution. When you live with purpose, setbacks feel smaller, sacrifices feel lighter, and victories feel richer. You are no longer just surviving, you are serving something timeless. Finding purpose does not mean having all the answers. It means asking yourself the right questions. What impact do you want your life to leave? Who do you want to become? Not just for yourself, but for the people around you. What kind of legacy do you want to build in 2026 and beyond? These questions strip away the distractions of temporary pleasures and force you to confront what truly matters. Purpose is not about grand gestures. It is not limited to fame or wealth. Purpose can live in small acts of consistency, in the way you love, in the way you grow, in the way you rise each day, determined to be a little better than yesterday. Purpose is not something outside of you. It is born from within you, shaped by your values, your struggles, your experiences, and your dreams. When you connect with it, every moment of your life gains weight, depth, and clarity. The most unshakable people are those who know why they wake up in the morning. They are not distracted by comparison or envy because they are too focused on fulfilling their mission. They are not broken by failure because failure is just another tool sharpening their impact. They do not waste energy chasing every opportunity because they understand that not everything is aligned with their purpose. And in that clarity, they find strength that others cannot match. Ask yourself, are you moving through life with direction or are you drifting? Without purpose, even achievement can feel empty. You can reach milestones, make money, gain recognition, yet still feel a hollow space inside you. Purpose fills that space with meaning. It ensures that every victory, no matter how small, contributes to a bigger picture. It gives you the courage to keep going when others stop because you are not just chasing results, you are fulfilling destiny. Purpose transforms suffering into strength. When life tests you, purpose whispers, this pain is not wasted. This moment is part of the mission. And in that whisper, you find resilience, patience, and courage. Purpose turns discipline into devotion, passion into power, and dreams into destiny. When you align with purpose, you no longer ask whether you can. You ask only how you will. You no longer wonder if the struggle is worth it. You know that it is because purpose is the reason behind every step, the light through every storm, and the foundation of a life transformed. Purpose lights the path, but courage is what allows you to walk it. Purpose without courage remains a dream, locked inside your mind, safe from failure, but also safe from fulfillment. Courage is the decision to act in the presence of fear, to move forward even when uncertainty surrounds you. It does not mean you feel no fear. It means you refuse to let fear decide the course of your life. Courage is the moment you choose growth over comfort, progress over hesitation, transformation over safety. Fear will never disappear. It is wired into your brain as a survival instinct. But while fear protects you from danger, it also keeps you from living fully. Most people allow fear to dictate their boundaries, mistaking comfort for security. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, routines that numb them simply because fear whispers, change is risky. Yet the greater risk is staying the same. The greater danger is living a life that never awakens your potential. Courage does not require giant leaps. It begins with small acts of defiance against fear. The moment you speak when your voice shakes, the moment you take the first step toward a dream without knowing the outcome, the moment you confront the truth instead of hiding behind denial, these choices build courage like a muscle. Each time you act despite fear, you prove to yourself that fear is not your master, and every proof expands the limits of what you believe is possible. Ask yourself, how many times has fear stolen opportunities from you? How many moments of growth have you missed because you hesitated, delayed, or convinced yourself you weren't ready? The truth is, you will never feel fully ready. Courage is not born from readiness, it is born from action. Readiness is a myth that keeps people waiting forever. Those who transform their lives are the ones who act before they feel prepared, trusting that they will grow into the challenge. Courage is contagious. When you choose it, others see your example and find strength to face their own fears. Your courage does not just transform your life, it inspires transformation in those around you. Fear isolates, but courage unites. Fear silences, but courage speaks. Fear limits, but courage expands. This is why courage is the foundation of leadership, influence, and legacy. But courage is not reckless. It is not the absence of wisdom. True courage is guided by purpose. It is the alignment of your actions with your values, even when it costs you comfort. It is the choice to honor your truth when lies would be easier. It is the decision to stay consistent when quitting would bring relief. Courage means doing what matters, not what is easy. The reward of courage is not just the outcome, it is the transformation within you. Each act of courage reshapes your identity, proving that you are stronger, braver, and more capable than you once believed. Over time, this belief becomes unshakable. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start declaring, what if I rise? And with that shift, your life changes forever. Courage is the doorway between who you are and who you are meant to become. Walk through it, and the version of yourself you've been waiting for will finally appear. Not someday, but now.